Hi, I'm Professor Luchin, and this is Lecture 12 for Safety 380 Introduction to Occupational Safety and Health. In Lecture 11, I talked about OSHA record keeping and showed you a lot of information from the OSHA website, particularly referring to not only their safety and health topics page for record keeping, but also 29 CFR 1904, which is the record keeping standard. A natural complement to that is to talk about the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Although the data is shared, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, they do their own survey, and now OSHA is also doing their own survey. And so now there's an effort to try and compare those results to try to get more valid or reliable data. So I'm going to show you a few things here in this presentation. Then what I'm going to do is take you to the actual Bureau of Labor Statistics website, just so I can kind of give you a quick tour and show you around, and also show you the what I provided for the class, though you can see it right below. So the overall mission, and it is actually laid out in the actual OSH Act that there would be, an agency or resources put aside to track our national fatality and non-fatal injury and illness data. And so this is the group that it publishes reports every year, and we tend to use those as comparisons or just to monitor to see how things are changing from a national and industry perspective. So the website is bls.gov. If you want to go find it, you can go to the subject areas tab, click on it, and there's 3 columns then once you click on subject areas. Not at the bottom, but one up from the bottom in the middle is workplace injuries. The 2 reports we're going to look at and I've provided for you are the Census of Fatal Occupational Injuries, which is CFOI. The other is the non-fatals, which is the Survey of Occupational Injury and Illness, or the SOII. These are the 2 reports. And there tends to be, anywhere from an 11 to 12 month lag between the end of a year. So in 2021, we won't see the 2020 data until November, December, maybe even later due to the pandemic, and there's going to be some probably considerable differences from 19 to 20. And they even talk on the website in some of their reports how they're going to be doing that comparison. So when we open it, this will be the sort of the home page to the injury, illness, and fatality. See, it's the IIF. Here's a direct link to the 2019 SOII report and the SFOI report, so non-fatal and fatal injuries. Down here, I think this is a really good link. It says recently published data. You get to a lot of more things going through this link right here, or the green one, I should say. Yeah, you probably can't see my cursor. So I started with the top. That's a navy blue circle. Go down to the middle, and there's a green circle. And a little bit here, I'm going to show you the pages for the incidence rate calculator. That's the red circle. And then over on the right, this is just sort of a quick reference to some of the probably the more searched or requested information. This is the purple circles over on the right, latest numbers. So it shows you the total recordables or an estimate, an extrapolation essentially from their survey for 2019. The days, the cases that involve days away from work, the median number, the number of sprains, strains, tears, that tends to be number 1. Causes of injuries to the back, slips, trips, and falls. And then below that is the fatality. It's got the total, a little over 5,300. The number of roadway incidents, which is the number 1 cause of death in the workplace. The slips, trips, and falls, which tends to be number 2. And then we've got homicide there. And so we'll look at that stuff here in a moment. So I just want to kind of give you an idea. Over on the left will be, I went through and actually checked a lot of this stuff here, such as if you wanted state data, if you wanted to look at their data quality research, and response rates and how they're going to compare their data to the OSHA data initiative. So I provided this to you on the Canvas website, the 2019 news release for the fatality. So as you can see, it does have the 2019-2018 comparison here. Some of the charts don't have that. They haven't completed the work yet because it just came out in like December. So it looks like since 2013, we've had kind of a consistent increase in the number of fatalities. But you have to look at it from a rate perspective, because if there are more people working, there would probably be more fatalities. And after we had a peak in 2016, it's pretty much leveled off to like about a 3.5 fatalities per 100,000 FTE. That's the unit of measure for the fatality rate. If you recall from the last lecture, the incidence rate, which is the non-fatal rate, is per 100 workers. They do that in order for the number to be a digit, decimal point digit. And so in comparison, the approximate rate of fatalities to non-fatal injuries and illnesses, the recordable type, is about 1 fatality per 1,000 of the other type. Down on the right, I provided the top causes. This says major event or exposure for fatalities, and it has 16 through 19 here. Looks like, transportation, it dominates. It's at least double number 2. Number 2 here is slip, trips, and falls. Though real close there, you can kind of see, they battle it out as far as per year. Violence, and then goes contact, and then exposure to harmful substances. Fire explosions, it's another magnitude much lower. So you can see these are the top 5 causes of death in the workplace, and they account for a majority. Next, we're looking at the not only the 2019 news release for the non-fatal injuries, but also the 2018 charts, because they just don't have them out yet. As you can see by the upper left-hand corner, that is the for private industry, the total case incidence rate, and it's really leveled off since 2017. Not much of a change. And you'll also see a similar plateauing or leveling off in the chart number 2. And these are the more severe cases, the days away and the job restricted transfer. The bottom right, you see that overexertion and body reaction is number 1. It's been that way for a long time. These tend to be ergonomic related injuries. Next is slip, trips, and falls, and that has been number 2 for a long time. But you can also see a substantial decline there in each, although slip, trips, and falls jumped up at the end there. That's interesting, because you see the other 3 top 5, they're kind of a leveling off. So contact with object equipment has, it went up and down. It's kind of a leveling. It's kind of stayed. So we're not doing something to negate those. And then the violence is down further, and transportation are down lower. So those, when those incidents occur, they tend to be more fatal than non-fatal, because we had those in the saves with slip, trips, and falls. It's just interesting, the comparison between the fatalities and non-fatal. If you want to calculate your company's incidence rate, the Bureau of Labor Statistics provides a lot of information. If you look where it says how to compute the incidence rate, you see it refers to columns that I talked about in the last lecture. It's pretty much match. You really won't have to be doing that much. I'm just trying to make you aware of the connection between the two. And here you could actually just enter in your numbers, and it calculates it for you. For the homework, I believe, it's either the homework or the study sheet, I want you to look up Wisconsin's incidence rate. And if you click on the state or click on where the red is, you'll be able to find that. It takes it, because right below this, if you were to scroll down when you're on this page, you'll find everything you need. There's always been, not always, at least maybe in the last 10 years, there's been concerns over the quality, the reliability, the validity of the data that is published by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. They do the best they can. There's always limitations when you have people self-reporting, but they're attempting to mitigate that. And you can go to there's 2 different areas. Over on the left, I got red circles around it, the data quality research, and also the OSHA ITA, and that's what I've got on this page here. And I had mentioned in the last lecture, this is kind of my area of expertise, what I want to be doing my own research in, and this is where I'm going to start. I'm going to start with what they have here and how the Bureau collects data, and then I'm going to analyze the data, which was calendar year 16 through 19, because they're uploading 20 right now, and that's what I'll try to figure out. What's the difference? What are the issues and things like that? We'll find out. Yeah. So to review, I'm going to take you on a tour now. I want you to understand what are the primary causes of death in the workplace, what are the primary causes of non-fatal injuries and illnesses in the workplace. Just your ability to be able to get in and kind of just look around. Really it. All right. So here is the Canvas page for Lecture 12. So I provided you with the CFOI for 2019. It's the news release. And its complement, the non-fatal, through the SOI report. Here's the charts. Down here, I've got links to different parts of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So you can look at it. I've got this interesting 25 years of injury data. I used to ask questions on it, but it's sort of interesting. And then I have an old tour. You know what? I'll take that off. You really don't need that. So let's go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And as I had mentioned before, you click on subjects and you have to go down, and it's right here at the bottom. It's called Workplace Injuries. Click on that. It'll bring me to the home page of the injury and illness and fatalities, as you can see right here. So as I'd shown in the lecture video, here's a link to the press release and other information. Here's the press release that I've provided to you. See, the charts are not available yet, but they've got some summary tables and interesting stuff here. We'll go back. Same thing with fatality data in the report. Click on it. And here's the news release I provided to you. And it's got some other information as well. Interactive charts. I get kind of confused when I work with those. The recently published data, I like this. This would be my go-to. And you see it's got linked to some information about the quality of their data. This goes to non-fatal data. It's got the news release, but it brings you to a lot of places. I mean, there's a lot of ways to get to where you want to get to. And the fatalities there as well. Okay, we've got the latest numbers over here. I talked about that. The OSHA injury initiative that they're doing. And here's the click for the incidence rates, or whatever you want to get. Watch a video to learn more about workplace safety data. I haven't watched that. That just came on my radar. So maybe I'll watch that and maybe provide a link and take away nearly 50 years of data. So there's some interesting stuff here to look at. And I think that's where I'll end right now. So if you have any questions, let me know. But this is, again, meant to be sort of a complement to the OSHA record keeping. There are similarities, and they're trying to find more similarities. But this is what companies will do, is they'll analyze their own OSHA data, and then they'll compare it to data that they find here. But again, but as we move into the next module, we'll be focusing on overexertion injuries, slips, trips, and falls, contact with. We really don't get to transportation, but we pretty much hit everything else, and I'll try to take it from also a cost perspective, and we'll get in and look at the what the OSHA website has, what the National Safety Council has, and other stuff. I'm just babbling. So hopefully this helps. Hopefully this helps you complete the study sheet and the homework this week and to prepare for the quiz.